Richard Widmark lived a double life for 30 years, and no one knew, until now, because behind his tough guy screen persona and sharp-edged performances existed a carefully hidden private world defined by restraint, contradiction, and emotional distance. Widmark became famous for portraying hardened criminals, morally conflicted men, and intense authority figures, earning a reputation as one of Hollywood's most convincing embodiments of controlled menace. Audiences believed the roles reflected the man, assuming Widmark carried the same cold edge into real life. In truth, the image masked a deep internal divide that he spent decades protecting. Publicly, Widmark was disciplined, outspoken, and fiercely professional, often described as intimidating on set. Privately, he was deeply introspective, emotionally guarded, and quietly burdened by the weight of expectation. His double life was not rooted in scandal or secrecy for thrill, but in survival within an industry that rewarded toughness and punished vulnerability. Widmark learned early that emotional exposure could be mistaken for weakness, especially for an actor typecast as relentless and unyielding. To preserve his career, he leaned into the image, even as it conflicted with his inner self. Friends noted that Widmark was far more thoughtful and sensitive than his role suggested, yet he rarely allowed that side to surface publicly. He feared that revealing too much would erode the authority audiences expected. This internal split intensified as his fame grew. Widmark became known for his strong opinions and uncompromising standards, which often created distance between himself and collaborators. While some viewed this as arrogance, it was partly armor, a way to maintain control over how he was perceived. For 30 years, Widmark balanced these opposing identities with precision. At home, he sought quiet, intellectual conversation, and emotional stability. On screen and in interviews, he projected firmness and certainty, reinforcing the myth that he was as unbreakable as the characters he portrayed. His marriage became one of the few spaces where he allowed himself to soften, yet even there, he maintained boundaries shaped by years of emotional self-containment. Widmark's refusal to participate in Hollywood excess was often misinterpreted as aloofness, but it reflected his desire to keep his private life untouched by spectacle. The double life also extended to how he processed success. Publicly, he spoke confidently about his career choices. Privately, he questioned the long-term cost of typecasting and the emotional toll of playing cruelty so convincingly. He worried that audiences no longer saw him as a man, but as a symbol of hardness. This realization haunted him quietly, shaping his later career decisions. As Hollywood changed, Widmark found himself increasingly out of step with newer trends, yet he refused to reinvent himself superficially. Instead, he withdrew gradually, choosing dignity over relevance. Only later did fragments of the truth emerge through reflections and accounts from those who knew him well. They describe a man who carried emotional weight silently, who valued integrity and introspection but felt trapped by the image he had helped create. The revelation of Widmark's double life reframes his legacy, not as deceptive, but as deeply human. He lived between expectation and authenticity, choosing consistency over exposure. The tragedy, if there is one, lies in how completely he believed he had to separate those worlds. Richard Widmark's story reminds us that even the most formidable public figures may be quietly negotiating identities the world never allows them to show.